Thanks, Samir. Welcome, friends, to the largest virtual AI summit. It's going to be held on 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of this month. My name is Shuvajit. I've been a data analytics and AI practitioner over the last 2 decades. And alongside me is Mamatha, two of us will be the anchors for today. We have an exciting topic for discussion. New age D2C to quick commerce and platforms underpinned by Gen AI, the new possibilities, and we have a very eminent panel of speakers. So I'm quickly going to introduce our panelists today. We have Vijayender Rathore. He is the GM, Head of Data Science, AI, ML Engineering and Products, Data Labs at the Landmark Group. Welcome, Vijayender. We
Hi,
have
Shuvajit. Thank you.
Biswajit Pal. Biswajit is the Principal Data Scientist at Kenvue. Welcome, Biswajit.
Thank you, Shuvajit.
Uh, we have Viswanath Reddy Vishi. He is the Analytics and Practice Leader for Aditya Birla Group. Welcome, Vishi.
Thanks, Shujit. Nice to be here.
Yes. And last but not the least, my co-anchor Mamatha. Mamatha is a director of data and analytics at JCPenney. So welcome, Mamatha.
Thank you.
All right. I think we are going to try to delve into a little bit into the D2C businesses and quick commerce and the platforms that are today leveraging AI or Gen AI. Right? So try to look at the different businesses that you belong to and try to craft some questions that will help our audience to learn more about what is happening in those areas. Right. To start with, we will focus on the fashion industry. We have three of our eminent speakers here from the fashion industry. And so my question to you, maybe starting with Vishi, is how is AI, Gen AI driving value to D2C fashion businesses in the context of Indian markets?
Okay. So that's a good question, Shujit. To start with, D2C companies by design are light on people and process. They're heavy on the technology and that they use technology to scale. So given that context, if you look at any fashion company, typically they have a team of designers who come with certain experience and legacy who help out on the designs. Now with which is not a luxury that a typical D2C company can afford. With the whole Gen A coming in, I think technology is taking up the role of designing the styles, designing the fabrics and the prints and all that, right? And typically, a team of as small as two folks can generate designs way faster than what a traditional team does. Of course, you need some filters and guidelines on the top of it, but essentially, your 90% of the work is taken over by generative AI. Given that it's in the primitive stages, but it's not entirely unheard of. In fact, Madura has recently released a collection completely based on the generative AI. In fact, Madura itself is a big company, right? The multiple D2C companies who have been doing that, where they're just, in fact, outsourcing the design to the customers themselves. Let the customers themselves design the prints they want. The internal team does some basic editing so as to make them printable, so as to say, and go on, right? So that way, I think generative AI is giving that booster to the D2C companies to and leveling up the play field in terms of capability between a D2C and a legacy fashion ecosystem. So I think it's a great technological leveler, is what I would say.
Great. I think that brings in a lot more customization as well as your overall time to design and market is much shortened, right? So that's a great advantage of using Gen AI. I'll move on to Vijayender. Your response, please.
Yeah, so I think I will divide into two parts. One is like how we can use, if I go into a bit more deeper into the analytics side of data science side of it. If you go into more into structured data kind of thing, I think there's a plethora of data sources which are available today, especially for the fashion industry. I think there's a lot of fashion weeks which keeps on happening. There's a lot of online media, shopping patterns and everything, and there's a lot of customer reviews and everything. So fashion industry as a whole is able to leverage AI to uncover these fashion trends at a more faster rate than it was, I would say, like 6, 7 years back, where it has to go through a lot of pre-processing and everything. So I think that is one, I think, area where fashion industry will has been benefiting the more. If I talk about one of the I think biggest I think fast fashion retailers in Europe, they are basically looking to do a lot of fast supply chain. and they're able to do so because they're able to uncover the fashion trends faster than anybody else. So they are already leveraging these kind of data sources and everything. And second, I think I will just add, I think what Vish mentioned, yes, right now today with generative AI, there's a lot of kind of things available to a lot of designers. They can generate a lot of designs at a click of a second, and they can just see which design will basically looks good in terms of as per the fashion trend. So all these two things can be married together in terms of making sure whatever the designs you're creating are catering to the customer demand and everything. And ultimately, it will lead to a larger customer experience where the customer will be able to get what it needs. So I think AI plus Gen AI combination, I think over a larger perspective, will definitely help to do a lot of, I think, faster kind of understanding faster fashion trends and making sure you're able to cater to the demand of the customer.
Great. That's great to know. Actually, I'll turn it over to Mamta and see, how is it with JCPenney, in the US markets or and elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for any digital business, I think content creation and enhancement for better discoverability of products is something that we're all focusing on as well. So I think content is a very important aspect of being able to move that customer from, hey, I'm showing an intent to purchase, to actually having them purchase. So I think that's one area where there's a heavy usage and advantage of AI. I think apart from that, I think optimizing operations will never kind of go away. Using seamless AI powered automation is key to kind of continue to improve efficiency within, your vertical and the broader company is eventually. And I think there are several other opportunities in supply chain, be it with route optimization, inventory or demand forecasting. I think these are use cases which are core 101 to retail. And I think the importance and enhancement of, being quicker, being able to customize, etc., with AI powered solutions is very, very key and critical in the retail landscape today.
Great, thanks, Mamta. I think looks like all fashion industry is actually leveraging the power of AI and Gen AI to a great deal, and I think this will be to the betterment of user experience. And I hope this brings in larger disruptions in this industry, right? So we'll move on to the next question.
Yep. I think very similar question. I think what will be good to understand is the trend in retail and CPG. Which functions in your vertical have been like the early adopters of AI or Gen AI? Shuvajit will start with you and then go to Biswajit.
Sure. Great. Thanks, Mamta. So obviously, Gen AI or AI, mostly AI has been in retail for a while, right? And this is a function of the availability of data, right? Clearly, I think good quality data leads to good quality decision making. If you really see in the cases of e-commerce, I think two large functions, personalization and search, right, have been done in a enterprise scale AI manner for years now, right? Obviously, generating the right content for the users, helping them, get to what they're looking for, right? So if you really see in the area of search right now, neural search, which enables search using conversational or open-ended queries, right? Or even theme-based search in Gen AI, like examples like, I have a house party for an IPL match, right? Or, I would like to search for healthy snacks or maybe non-allergic baby food, right? So some of this which require to understand the theme or the semantic understanding of the queries, and it's just not limited to single category search results, is coming heavily. And I think a lot of Indian as well as international retailers are essentially experimenting with this, right? A combination of both a traditional search plus AI or Gen AI led search. Personalization again on the other side, on the app as well as all the content creation, which I think some of you did mention earlier, has been one of the bigger areas, right? So how can you then curate different content for either a persona of users or maybe even users at a individual level, right? This is driving at scale marketing and marketing communications and campaigns, right? Personalized copies, and so on and so forth, right? So I think those are some of the the key areas. Apart from that, Mamta, you did mention about the use of AI in, for example, supply chain, where cutting edge forecasting methods or inventory optimization methods are leading to lower stockouts, right? Or even in the areas of pricing, promotion. So I think in retail, AI plays a key role across various functions. So I'll just pause here because I think it would be also interesting to hear what is it in the CPG space.
Yeah. Thank you, Shubhajit. And I think you have covered the retail space in a quite elaborate way. So let me actually highlight some of the work which we are doing in Kenvue as a part of the CPG. So essentially, our entire ecosystem works based on science of brand growth, which have three components, which is around mental availability, physical availability, and rapid prototyping. Now, the work which we are doing in GCC mostly caters around the physical availability, and it caters to both AI and Gen AI. So one of the few of the work which we are doing in the AI space are like on-shelf availability. Like, so what on-shelf availability means that, how can we raise a proactive alert when a particular item is not on the shelf, alert the store associates that, hey, you have to replenish it. They will go back to they will go to the back room. They will see that whether that particular item is there or not, and then replenish it. And if the item is not there in the back room, then raise a out of stock alert. So the entire process is being done using AI and at an enterprise level scale. A few of the other work which we are essentially doing is around assortment optimization, then recommending what should be the right SKU to be sold to a particular retailer. In the field of Gen AI, again, it's a basically a horizontal, right? So we are actually working with a lot of different departments. Like one of the problem which we are right now solving, where we are working very closely with the business team, is to answer the what and why questions. And by what question, I mean, say, what was the sales of Listerine in India in last month, right? And the why question means that why the sales of, say, Avino is down in the quarter one, right? To understand what's the possible reason. Then content creation, as everyone mentioned, we are also doing. We are working along the marketing team and helping them to generate some of the content. We also have a very solid R&D team, and given the fact that Kenvue is a spin-off from Johnson and Johnson, so we have almost 100-year-old of R&D data. Data in that sense, there are a lot of research which has been conducted over the years. So what we are helping the R&D team is to develop, helping them in their knowledge search, that how can we actually answer some of the question what they have by scraping through and getting the output from the generative AI from this 50-year-old, 60-year-old archive what we have. And we have also developed few solution for the people's team, which typically helps them in their goal setting exercises and also hiring. So this are basically sort of the spectrum of work which we are doing in AI and Gen AI in our company slash CPG. Also, I think it's caters to CPG industry to a certain extent as well.
Great. I think that's a elaborate list of use cases. I really like the part where you mentioned that you have created knowledge search for all 100 years of all the knowledge that stays and maybe easily available at the tips of your marketeers or even other category managers, right? To
Right.
or even for that matter, people who are looking for new product development.
Yep.
Great. Okay, I think we'll switch a little gears here, and again coming back to maybe this time we'll start with Vijayender. You, since I think Landmark as well as Aditya Birla and JCPenney are omnichannel retailers, right? Would love to also understand how Gen AI or AI is playing a role in your in-store experience. So if you can share a few examples.
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the use case of where AI actually has been able to transform the customer experience is a real-time personalized recommendation. Now we talk about a lot of hyper personalization, and then we talk about personalization at a scale. So these two happens like as the customer is still going to make a purchase decision or not. But when the customer is in the store, that he will make some impulsive purchases also, and he will make some planned purchases also. That's why he has come to the store. Now, to improve that experience, there are a lot of, I think, methods that a lot of retailers are using right now. As soon as the customer moves into the store, he can scan a QR code and he can just kind of give his attributes and preferences, and there would be a real-time recommender system which will run at the back end in terms of understanding what's the customer particular product recommendation can be based on the attributes and preferences that the customer has submitted. And there are multiple ways of it. Like a lot of retailers right now are tying up with a lot of telecom companies also to understand to customize the offer for the customer, like whether at what point of a time a customer is in the store, so that we can pitch in an offer that you can basically not or not able to not able to with that he is able to buy that particular purchase, and he's not able to basically stop that from getting into him. So those kind of, I think, two things from an AI perspective, which is more on the personalized data with the kind of data which is available there that can help them. But just talking from the other side also for the store staff which are there, how AI can help them also to improve the customer experiences. I think basically like we talk about demand forecasting, we talk about assortment optimization. I think with GenAI at the fore, there's a lot of kind of uh, pre-trained models. I'm just going a bit into technology side of things. Pre-trained models that can be used to augment the structure kind of a data uh, uh, to build a system that will help the store staff to understand if a particular SKU or a particular kind of a product stock levels are going down, or if the demand is higher. If something can be done, is it is either due to the customers are basically buying like on top of the demand, or sometimes the customer is not buying as per the demand that we anticipated. So they will get a real-time alerts in terms of what's the forecast are and what's the impact on the stocks as they move forward. So it's a case of both. Like the customer will get to know like what's the recommendation from there at least, but from a store perspective, because those people are actually at the kind of like the first line of I think defense. I think, and that's where I think it will give them intelligence in terms of understanding what kind of customers are buying, what kind of forecast they're getting for different categories, and accordingly, from a longer run, they can also order to improve the customer experience. Let's say if they're manufacturing it by themselves, or have to order from the different suppliers. So I think from those perspective, AI definitely will be driving the customer experience. At some places, it has already started, I guess.
So, coming to Mamta, what kind of innovations have you seen, in JCPenney or in US retailers in general, specifically in stores?
Yeah, I think like Vishy called out, the virtual turn on, try on assistants are like increasing. And I think for reasons, when you walk into the store, you just don't want to buy the top. You want to have that with the right pair of earrings, the handbag to go with the shoes. And you really want it to be curated basis of your style, your preferences, or trends in the market, right? I think this is becoming a lot more real with the data that's available. I think two other use cases which are important in US context as well is also fraud detection and kind of reducing fraud, right? And also, if you think about it, to say we spoke about personalization, but is there customization that we can do a lot more in our campaigns as well, right? Promotions that we give our customers. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what we want is to be able to make that sale. And I think to be able to use that data effectively to give them the right in store experiences, to give them everything that they can shop and cross shop beyond, and to be able to do it personalized to what their liking is, I think is very, very key.
Excellent. I think there are quite a few resonating experiences that you guys have mentioned, because I believe a lot of retailers still like to use the power and the experience of their stores, while they do have a very strong e-commerce presence. I know JCPenney or even Target for that matter actually have done that in the past, right, and continue to do so. Okay, thanks, Mamta. We'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, thank you, Shuvajit. I think the next one, like, Vishy called out, AI is not new. It's been here since quite some time, right? But I think the next one I'm trying to understand in what ways could Gen AI kind of facilitate new forms of customer engagement and loyalty that were previously not possible in, D2C brands or even in Q-commerce. So, Biswajit, will start with you and then hand it over to Shuvajit.
Sure, Mamta, thank you. So I think one area which I definitely want to delve into is the customer engagement piece, right? And this is one area which I guess Jene has done quite a lot of work, and I'm sure that it will keep on doing it in future as well. So it has really brought a sort of a transformation. A couple of examples which I want to cite is like, for example, the automated customer support, right, and the real-time feedback analysis. So the chatbots which were right now getting built using generative AI has already, proven better compared to the predecessors. And I think in most of the cases, I'll not say every cases maybe. And also the real-time feedback analysis, right? So for example, what the GenAI algorithms are doing, or they have the capability, is to analyze the customer feedback in the real time, gauge their sentiment, and then address the customer concerns promptly, right? So essentially, what it will lead to? So it will lead to a pretty good customer delight, and it will increase the repeat rate, and which I feel is one of the major concern for any e-commerce firm as well as the CPG companies, right? The repeat rates are going down. So I think having a good customer engagement system using generative AI uh, have started proving beneficial, and I think it will keep on proving very beneficial in the future as well.
Okay, I think we are coming up to the last phase of our discussion here. So while we've spoken about different use cases and how is AI causing disruption, where is Gen AI getting used, uh, one of the questions I would like to ask all of you here is that what are some of the challenges that you have faced to bring AI mainstream, right? So maybe I'll again start with you, Vishi.
Sure. See, over time, I think if I have to broadly categorize the challenges, it's twofold, right? One is the ROI of any AI project. Business wants an immediate ROI, right? I mean, they always measure the success of an AI project by a short-term ROI, which probably could vary from 3 months to maybe at max 1 year. Some projects do give, but most of the capability projects, most of the fundamentally business altering AI capabilities, they take much longer uh, to give the ROI, right? So I think we have this mindset of quick ROI, and a very time defined ROI. I think we should go beyond that and give us some leeway in terms of seeing the ROI, and various other ways apart from just a dollar or a rupee impact. The second is again the whole mind shift challenge, right? While you do a lot of, or while your business has a lot of AI projects, you still think in very disconnected terms around AI. You still have a supply chain AI project, you have an assortment AI project, but these rarely sometimes don't talk to each other, because the connecting link is the human who still thinks 20 years old, right? The brain is still not wired. So I think a culture change is needed, a mind shift change, especially in the senior leadership, because it has to be top down in terms of AI projects. How you it has to be through AI, by AI, right? That's the only way that mind shift change can happen. That's in a company. I think these two are the things that
Right.
I see are the main challenges.
Great. Just quick comments from you, Vijayender and Vishwajit.
Yeah, sure. I can go next. So I think I totally resonate with Vizi's point, right? And one of the thing what I have seen is basically the change management and adoption part, which Vizi, vividly pointed out. And I think one of the challenges what we need to sort it out is basically see, for example, the marketing content creation which we talked about. Now, definitely, it will create a lot of attention in the marketing folks who are doing it for quite some time. That hey, if say a 10 people job can be done by 2 people, what will happen to us? So I think we definitely need to cater that this particular technology is not essentially trying to replace you, but it's also sort of assist you, and so that it will help you to do maybe more value add or more creative activity, right? So I think that kind of assurance from the top management will help us definitely increase the more adoption. I think secondly, from a change management standpoint, because at the end of the day, these are system. Now these need to get integrated with some bigger or a larger system, which are still mostly the legacy based. So how can we actually combine modern age technology with a sort of a legacy technology? I think that itself we need to sort it out, like so that in terms of increasing the adoption and making it more impactful.
Great. I just want to just call out your first point that Gen AI is a co-pilot and not really the pilot, right? So I think that should be kept
Yeah.
in. Thank you so much. I think we're running out of time, so I'll just quickly turn over to Mamta.
Yeah, I think huge thank you to all of the panelists today for the valuable discussions. I think sharing where AI has been adopted in each of your journey has been very, very helpful. And I think also sharing your point of view very candidly, right? So thank you so much. It was a pleasure doing it. So handing it back to Samir.